Well, what are your views on the obviously the recent sort of highlight on the burqa ban? What's your perspective on it?
Yeah, it's difficult because where it happens in France, it's a difficult country. The country it's quite different to our country in the way that it handles those kinds of things. In the UK, I'm completely for it. I have no issue at all, and want
for the ban or for them being able to wear what they like.
People should be allowed to wear what they want, and we should respect people regardless of what they are, their faith, whatever.
Yeah.
My kids, one of them is 8, one of them is 11, and they've been brought up in an environment. We live in North London, but the mosque at the end of our street.
Okay.
They're in an environment where it's just a massive melting pot. Some of their teachers obviously wear hijabs.
Yeah.
So they're, and when you see it through their eyes, they just.
It's true. Yeah.
They have nothing to say because that's their lives.
Exactly, and I think that's really the crux of it. That on the one hand, there is this discussion about freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and all these freedoms, and being the bastion for liberating women and whatnot. But at the same token, then you're saying, but we're going to tell them what not to wear. You can't have both positions at the same time, especially when there isn't any real justification from our perspective for it. If it was a security thing, most women who do wear the face, which is a very small minority within Muslim women, are happy to remove it with a female colleague or attendant at a bank, or just to verify their identity, like they do anyway. At airports, that happens. That already happens. So I didn't
really think about that.
Yeah, this whole thing about security, we can't identify people, especially going through the whole COVID sort of phase that we all lived through. Yeah. People were covering their faces, are still covering their faces, and just getting on with what they need to do. So it's never really been a security thing. So it just begs the question: and what is the real agenda behind it, and why are Muslim women being singled out, who are already a minority within a minority? Like I said, the very small proportion. And they're not. It's not like they're out there in mobs and causing a lot of crimes on the streets or anything like that. So is that really the battle they need to be fighting at this point in time? That's the whole perspective for highlighting this whole issue of the double standards here. That on the one hand you're arguing for liberating women and giving them the freedoms that are being taken away from them, and so they're supposedly oppressed. But at the same time, you are doing exactly what you're accusing them of doing, i.e. stopping them, but the other way around, saying you can't wear this.
I worked with someone he works for Coots Bank now, Tausif is his name, he's Muslim, and he talked to me very interesting comments about, so Coots have been really good to him, but he hasn't, so they allow him time off, they allow him to pray and all this stuff, which has been great. But he said to me, Chris, sometimes I want equity and to be different. Yeah. And sometimes I just want equality. And I thought that's a fantastic thing to say, because actually, sometimes you just want to fit in.
It's not even about fit.
I'm not saying in relation to law, but in relation to how he feels. But then my colleague said to me, yes, but you can't always identify that he's Muslim. I'm like, yeah, but you can, because his name's Tausif Islam.
If you know his true, yeah.
So okay.
If you know his name, yeah. The thing is, we all live here. We all pay our taxes. We all expect the same treatment and rights that everyone else has. It's just when the government, especially when it comes from government as well, that when a certain group is targeted or picked, it seems like they're being picked on in this particular case without any real justification for it. That's where we think, okay, well, there has to be a bit of a pushback here. We need to actually at least voice our concerns with regards to this, because we've seen what's happened in France, and now it's gone to the hijab, and they said that women, even with their hijabs over a certain age, they can't do that in certain institutions, etc. So it's like, well, what is the real agenda here? When you look at other religions and other communities, the Jewish community, they have a sort of sect within them. They have a full-on face veil and cover, almost identical to the Muslim women, pretty much identical, if not more. But there seems to be a very preferential treatment for them when it comes to certain issues which they accuse Muslims of. So there's that double.
Jewish women wear shorts, so they wear wigs. I mean, all right, they
Yeah.
make it look like their hair, but that's.
I think that it's the Haredi or the Hasidic Jews.
Yeah,
Hasidic
yeah.
Jews, they actually have a full-on. It is a burqa essentially,
Yeah.
from head to toe,
Yeah.
covering, and even in this country, and Mary, the depiction of Mary, the Mother of Christ. She was wearing a face veil and almost identical to. You think she was a Muslim woman?
Look, I mean, do you know what? I mean, look. Let's think about where we claim Jesus is from.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
going to be a white man, is it?
Exactly.
Let's
Yeah,
face it.
he's
So,
in Palestine. No doubt.
It's just difficult because it is those groups in the UK, those small groups of white, usually middle-aged.
Yeah.
I'm completely different because of what I do, but
Of
white
course, yeah.
middle-aged men that make it sound like it's so much bigger than it is,
Yeah.
and it's across everything. It's across
That's true.
religion. It's across
Socioeconomic things, of course. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And it's usually a distraction from the real issues. The real issues, the way that which they're handling what they should be taking care of, running the country, and the failings they're having in that. So let's focus on something here to distract the public from what we're actually, not living up to in terms of our rights. So we've just to give it more of a positive twist,
Yes.
as opposed to just opposing it. We said, well, in fact, to use this as an opportunity to highlight why women do what they do, Muslim women in particular, and also certain sort of rights and things which many non-Muslims may not be aware of, even Muslims as well, that Muslim women are given rights and their status and how they are honoured and liberated in Islam hundreds of years, over 1,000 years before, obviously in the West where we claim we have all these rights and freedoms. Muslim women enjoyed all these for many years. So it's just this narrative of them being oppressed and all the rest of it. It's to re-educate people, which is our objective here.
They put their hijab on. And
Of
they
course,
take their hijab
of course,
off.
of course.
And it's one of the saddest things I've seen in probably a month ago when I was seeing all of these young women and teachers taking off, and just as a part of their. When you see it, it's quite. I mean, it may be quite emotional, but it's quite disturbing because that's who they are.
Exactly.
We have mainstream people like Nadia, who does cooking show, and I have to say that her head has moved further back. But the more we do that, and the more accepting we are of that, the more that group of people in this country I
think they feel alienated, they feel marginalised, and that sort of results in these sort of things. And like I said, there isn't a Muslim women have lived in society, functioned and run businesses and excelled in the different areas of life, even as mothers, which is a great role. Which is I think in many cases overlooked and belittled as well. When someone says I'm raising children, you're a home builder or whatever. But it's obviously they're not they're thinking economically for the economy. But these roles that men and women are playing here, that they should be celebrated rather than sort of them being put down and made to feel like they're the other. And that's where really all this extremism and all these things come from, when you make them feel like the other and it's us versus them and all this thing. That's what.
But then you start to retaliate. Why wouldn't you?
You feel cornered.
Suggesting.
Yeah.
But if you're pushed into that corner, of course you're going to retaliate.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly. But that's for you.
I'll keep.
Thank you very much for coming.
In top jobs in the city, and eventually we'll.
Appreciate it. Thank you for stopping.
Lovely to meet you.
Take care. Have a good day. Take care.